All right. Well, it is 7:30 and I have a ton of things to show. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I'm Katie Page, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at your Gmail. So if you are in your Gmail, that is great. If you are not, please go ahead and open your District 214 Gmail. I like to look at it in Chrome because it keeps everything inside of our Google Workspace, but really you can use any browser. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at several things here. One thing that I want to do is just kind of set up what we're going to look at. These are the things I'm going to run through. I've also got a separate list on the side here, depending on time. But basically to give you some control, right? Email is how we communicate in this district. And it is rough sometimes when you open your email and you're not even sure what's important and what's an advertisement and what is just garbage, right? So hopefully today we can start to get all of those things in order. So in your email, first thing I want you to do is to take a look at whatever your top, oh geez, I've gotten 3 more since the last one. Whatever your top email is, and just open it for a moment. And I want to kind of run through the different things that you can do within an email, because you may not have really paid attention to all of these things up here. So you can archive. If you are not sure if you're ever going to need this email again, but you don't need to look at it right this minute, you can just archive it. All that means is it puts it away, it takes it out of your inbox, but you can still access it by searching or using Gemini to search for it. And we'll talk about Gemini in a minute. If it's garbage or spam, go ahead and report it as spam. This is my favorite key, Michelle Tantillo. You and I like to delete things, I think. And if you sincerely don't need it anymore, get rid of it. For me, this is my favorite button from an environmental standpoint. It does take a lot of energy on the planet to store all of our data. And so I feel like an environmentalist when I delete emails. So you can feel good about it. Go ahead and let it go. If you accidentally opened something and realized, oh crap, I can't address this right now, I have to walk away, you can remark it as unread, or my favorite is to snooze. Have you tried snooze? For those of you just joining us, all I did was open an email and we're just running through all of these. Snooze is awesome. So let's say you get an email from Katie Page and you know there's going to be some awesome PD happening on a Friday morning, LOL. And you want to remind yourself that morning to do it. You can snooze my email until Friday morning. You can pick a date and time. This is a function that I think I don't use enough. I have a lot of other organizational methods going on, so you do you. But this one, when someone showed it to me, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So it puts it back up at the top of your inbox when it comes back. So, maybe think about giving snooze a try. You can move my button over here. You can move it if you have folders set up. You can label it. You can do all of these other things. Mark it as unread, important. You can add a star. We're going to talk about filters today to help you organize your inbox, get things organized before they even hit your inbox. You can print it. If you really need something on a sheet of paper, you can pop it out into its own window if you want to save it off on the side. And then, of course, you can do all of these things here. Pretty much you never want to reply all. Forward, filter, again, we're going to talk about. You can block. I love Kyle. I would never block Kyle, but maybe there's something you want blocked or reported. Maybe it's phishing. Do you need it translated? You can do that as well. Okay, so those are all of the tools at the top. By the way, this is an incredibly casual session. If you have questions or whatever, please feel free to unmute and just, dive in and let me know what you're thinking. So snooze, that's a huge one. One of them that I skipped up here is tasks, and I wanted to show you this task key. If you are looking at an email and it's something that you need to address or you would like to put on a to-do list, you can click this add to tasks. This little pane will open up and you'll see this email from Kyle for the commercials is coming over here. And then I have some options with it. I can add a calendar entry. So if there's something having to do with that email that you need to populate your calendar and there isn't already a calendar entry, you can add it to tasks so that it comes onto your little like to-do list over here. And then you can also put a date on it so it populates your Google Calendar. So that's this guy right here, add to tasks. That is one that I like. Now, you have to remember to look at your tasks and you can check them off when they're done and it gets rid of your task list here. And to find it when this pane is closed, it's this little check mark over here on the side, tasks. And so if you don't have a digital to-do list, that might be a good place to start, is for that one. The next thing I want to talk about is controlling your inbox. Let's stop the influx of emails, at least partially. If you go up into the waffle up here, this little grid, right, the little 9-dot grid, and scroll down, you'll find your groups. Go ahead and click on groups. And you'll see everything is there. Your conference emails, you know, whatever groups you have. I'm in all 7. Actually, there's 11 conference emails for all the schools. And so don't let mine give you anxiety. But in this screen, let's say I'm looking at Buffalo Grove High School Conference. If I'm a teacher at BG, I probably would like to get every email. I'm going to click each email. But if it's something like Swap and Shop, you know, maybe you want a digest or abridged. So digest, it gives it to you every time there's like a bundle of 25. And abridged, it'll give it in a bundle up to 150, but it comes at least once a day. So I choose abridged for a lot of these, and then I get just you know, one email of all of BG conferences and then one email of Elk Groves. And so, you know, or if there's something you don't need, like I turn off Swap and Shop, right? I have that one, just no email at all. So you can control your district groups here and how your email comes. So that is one quick way to make sure that you are controlling the influx on your email. Questions so far? Okay, let's talk about filters. You'll notice in my inbox here, I'm going to scroll in a little bit, that I have all of these tabs. This is my help desk. I call it tech desk for technology in the help desk. I have, if something's coming from my calendar, I have anything coming from Schoology, and then all of my conferences are labeled as well. I have all kinds of other labels. Like if I get anything from the people that I work with in teaching and learning, I label it teaching and learning so I know that it's something from within my department. You could maybe do that for your PLC. You can create a filter for the people in that group so you know if you get something from your teammates, it pops up. I've got ones from Apple. I've got, you know, I have thousands of of labels, but what it does is it makes it easy when I take a look at my inbox quick in the morning to skip those because I know what they are. And then I can address the ones that don't have a label, which sometimes are just advertisements, which then I go in and unsubscribe or just delete if I don't have time. And it immediately cleans up my inbox to have a filter like that. And these hit my inbox pre-labeled. I'm not doing anything with it. It comes completely pre-labeled this way. So let's take a look at how to do that. So let's say I want to have this New York Times filtered. Whoa, let's back out. What you're going to do is you can do this from within the email. There's 2 ways. From within the email, you can go over here to the little 3 dots and tell it filter messages like these. And then it auto populates the address from the New York Times. So let me show you. And then it says it's going to do words for this one, New York Times, and I could tell it create filter. Here are some things I can do with it. I can skip the inbox. I can have it apply a label. If you already have a label created, you can just pick the label. If you don't have a label created, you can create a new one. So I'm going to call this New York Times and create. And then I'm going to just tell it create filter. And when I go over my label to my labels here, you'll see I now have a New York Times label, and then you can change the color, which is what I like to do. Give it a color so that your eye immediately when you get into your inbox is going to separate things by your different colored labels. There's another way to create filters. If you questions so far, I don't want to go too fast. We do have a lot. Oh, that's good, Michelle. I like that you have a separate window for conference. I have another. So let's talk about conference emails for a second, because that is a lot. I would for sure right now follow along with me and let's set up a filter for conference emails, and then we can talk about how you can manage those. So we're going to go over here to the settings, click on settings, go to see all, and then go to filters. Okay, at the top, or behind all your filters, I have a bunch, you should see a thing that says create a new filter. So go ahead and click on that. And we are going to filter everything from your conferences. So if you're at Prospect like Michelle, you would do PHS and you'll see it auto populates. If you're at Elk Grove, EGHS, you'll see it populates. So go ahead and find your conference email. And then you're going to just hit create filter. And you're going to tell it what to do. I would immediately, let's go ahead and apply a label, and then I'll show you some different options you can have with that. So apply the label. If you don't have a conference email label, maybe you do. Maybe you created one, like see, I have one created. But if you don't, create a new one, label it. You could call it, well, I got called BG Conference. And then hit create. And when you get over here to conferences, give it a color. So for BG, maybe I would pick, orange or whatever you want to do. Okay, once you have it labeled like that, everything is going to hit your inbox. Every conference email that comes in is going to hit your inbox with that label. Oh, I typed in BG, so it's thinking BG. So all of my conference emails you can see here are coming in pre-labeled. I just gave them all the same label, but for you, you could, you've got it for just your building is great. So now once you have it labeled, you can come over here and just click on the conference label and only see the things with the conference label, which is nice. So you have a quick way to do that. So I actually, when I was teaching full-time, I went ahead and had my conference emails skip the inbox. This is a little scary, but skip the inbox and go straight into this folder. And I would just check the conference folder once or twice a day to see what was in there, when I had a chance. I would just peek in there. But it kept the conference emails out of my inbox, which was key to me to helping to control the clutter. So in that filter, which again, you can find back here in the filters, go back to setting, see all settings, filters. You should see your filters that are in here, right? You can go back in and edit. You can edit your filter and tell it what to do. You can have it skip the inbox if you want. You can do all of these things. Questions on filters? Okay, so filters for me are key. I love stuff hitting the inbox already pre-labeled. Now, one thing I will show you on the side here, if you click on settings, you'll see some quick settings over here. And there's a couple of ways to customize your inbox immediately. The default looks like this: comfortable, you can see, and then compact. I can show you what this looks like on mine. So comfortable looks like that, and compact looks like that, where they're all just like whoosh, scooched in. So I like the default, where you can kind of see the attachments that are underneath. You can pick whatever you like, but then there's different inbox types here. For example, right now I like unread first. So I have all of my unread on the top and then everything else on the bottom. So that's the one that I pick. But a priority inbox is interesting as well. You can customize it. So I have my help desk, my Schoology, and my conferences customized. And you can see then these are my inboxes. Let me close them so you can see it easier. I've got all of my help desk, all of my Schoology, the conferences, and then everything else. And so you can do a priority inbox as well. Once you have your labels set up, it makes that very, very easy. For me, I just like unread first, but you know, these are just all different ways that you can set it up. And then some people, I think Shelby Rosen does this with the multiple inboxes. So you can try that one too. And then how you want it to look, you know, where do you want the reading pane? Do you want no split? Do you want it to the right? Oh, I'm not gonna do that now. Do you want it below? You know, it'll put wherever you're reading, when you open it, it'll move that around. So just click around. You can always unclick it, you know, if you don't like it. So those are the types of inboxes. And then again, please unmute if you have questions. Oh, how do I hide labels? I don't want to delete them. I just don't want to see. You mean on the side pane? Like hide these? I don't think you can. I'm not sure. Like I have ones that are nested and I can collapse them. Yeah, I don't think you can hide those. I'll look it up afterwards, or maybe we'll just do a quick Google search and see, but I don't think you have control over that. I'm not really certain. Okay, so another way to control how much you're getting in your inbox, right? Because you want to stop the flow to be able to organize what is there, is over here on the side is something called chat. And by the way, this is where you can find your Google Meet as well. But chat is here. And there are several ways that you can use chat. You can use it to just be a direct message to somebody. I'm sure a lot of you use that. But one way to keep emails out of your inbox is to set up a space. So for example, if you are on, you know, Team FISI or, you know, world language, you might want to set up a space for your PLC or for your working group. If you're non-teaching staff, like whoever you're working with all of the time. And the reason you might want to do that is because when you're sharing things in here, I'm in my TLF space here. Not only do you have the chat between all of the people in there, but anything you share gets saved. So if you're working with files back and forth, or you've sent each other a link, if you sent each other a screen grab of something, you're not having to go back and search in that email. It's held for you right there in your own little private kind of email world for just you and your group. So I highly suggest checking out under chat, setting up a space for you and your team, and that will additionally help to keep your email not so cluttered, especially for the people that you're working with day in and day out. And you're trying to search and find things for that. So I highly recommend Spaces. And then on that note, if you are trying to find something and you have Gemini Pro, you can just ask Gemini to find it for you. So you can prompt it down here on the side and say, I'm looking for an email that has the keyword whatever, or I'm looking for an email that has the attachment, for last year's budget. put that in there and it'll search up the emails for you. So Gemini is fully integrated here. I want to talk about just a couple things here that it can do. It can help you write, proofread. It can do replies for you. It can summarize emails. It'll search in your inbox. So the cool thing is if you come back and there's a thread where there's like lots of back and forths, like this one here, people are really excited about Canva. 21 emails about that just in the last couple of days. And so if I wanted a summary of this, I could click on it and then ask it to mark this on red again it's doing it for me automatically. And so you can see it gave me a summary of what is happening. But if yours is not, you can ask it to give you a summary down here and tell it to summarize the thread. Or I can say like, what action items do I need to address from this thread? You know, like, what did I miss? You know, and it just tells me a couple of things here. So that is another way that you can use Gemini with your email. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything else here. Inbox. Questions, please.
Katie, can I say something about the hiding the labels?
Yeah, please.
If you go into all settings under the labels section, there is a way to hide the labels.
Thank you.
It still says that the emails are searchable, and if you hide it, then when you're back by your labels, if you hit the more button, you'll be able to access the hidden labels on the left side.
Nice, like under here where it says
yes
more here.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Thanks, Bev.
Yep.
Takes a village. All right, who had asked that? Catherine, did you see that? So it's under settings, labels, and then we've got all these. Ooh, I might do that later today. I've got a ton of labels in here. Actually, I should probably just delete them because I'm not using them anymore. But yeah, thanks. Anyone else?
Eleanor was asking, is there a way to delete more than 50 emails at a time? And she jokes, I've been working here a long time.
Yeah, I believe so. If you click on here, see, I delete all the time. And then I believe over here, Eleanor, if you click here, like actually click on the number, and you should get like a menu right up here that says something about bulk delete. I've done this in my personal email because it sits forever and I just have like thousands, you know, I don't go through it very often. Not too much goes there that's urgent for me. And so if you click here and then you choose like select all on this side, maybe that's the order.
I think it's the caret next to that box, Carrie or Katie. Like the check.
Here?
Yeah. Like you can say all, but do you see then the top it says all 50?
Oh, there it is. Thank
or
you.
Select all.
Thank you. Thank you. What would I do without all of you? Here we go. So yes, here's the bulk delete. I went over here by this check mark. I chose all, and then that menu popped up. So yeah, thanks. That's the menu I was looking for. And then it says select them all. And then, yeah, I can select all and then delete. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, cool. Yes, bulk delete. Highly recommend. Archive if you're not sure. You know, it's not hurting anything. You're at work. If you want to save it, save it. It's great. But if it's truly something you don't need, delete. And then additionally, if it's truly something you don't want coming, like if I don't want these ACLU, you know, make sure you go down to the bottom and unsubscribe, right? Get it out of your inbox. Then, you know, you're saving your future self from all of the things that are hitting your inbox. Okay, let me check my note real quick. Labels, filters. Oh, okay. Questions?
Rebecca was asking how can Gemini proofread an email?
Okay, so if there's a couple ways. If you're in Compose and you're composing an email, so now I've started an email, there's this little guy down on the bottom that says, help me write. Ooh, that's zoomed in a little too much. Right there, help me write. And so when you click on that, once it's written, it will proofread it for you. So you can, write a sentence, make is not great, and then tell it, polish this email. Normally I get like a little menu there. I didn't write enough, but you can see it gave me a thing, and then I've got options here to insert what it wrote. You can tell it to try again. You can tell it to refine. You get options in there, so it's on the bottom. While we're in here, inside of composing a message, another thing that can save you time is if you're looking down here on the bottom. So you can attach, you've got links, you can put in emojis, you can drag stuff from Drive, you can insert a photo, you can insert a signature if you need to sign something. There's a couple things in here I like. I like the set up a time to meet. This is only if you're trying to get a calendar entry for you and one other person. It's unfortunate that you can't do it like if you're assisting someone else, and you're trying to manage their calendar. It doesn't let you do that, but it is convenient if you and one other person are trying to set up a time to meet. You click on it and come out here. Propose times I'm free, and it pulls up my calendar, and I can go on my calendar and say, oh, I'm free at 4 o'clock. And I can add another one. I can say on the 9th at 10 a.m. and then add to email, and it plops it in there as a choice for the person. So you could say like, did these times work, like that? And the great thing is if I send it, off to Catherine, let's say, and she picks one, it populates both our Google calendars and nobody has to touch it again, which is fantastic. So instead of the back and forth of, are you free here? Are you free here? Are you free here? And then someone else will go create a calendar entry. This just does it for you. So that's within your email. It's called set up a time to meet. The other one that I really love is templates. I send a lot of things like, please fill out a help desk ticket, which I know you hate to get that from me. But if you could see like from yesterday, I think it's up to 67. I think I had 13 emails when I left here yesterday. And so a help desk is saving you to make sure that I see it and it gets taken care of. We don't want it to get lost, right? And so I'm sending the same thing all of the time. I just saved it as a template. So you can draft an email and save it as a template, and then it's just here for you and it dumps it in. So like if I click on that, it just dumps in the words. This is from what I just did a second ago. So let me get rid of that. But it says, hi there, please submit a help desk ticket, and it gives the link. So then I have to keep going to find the link to send to someone. So if you're constantly sending a similar email to groups of people, save it as a template, and save yourself some time for sure. So that's down here. So I think you should explore some of these menus in here as well. And now that we have Canva Pro, you can add a design to your email. So if you've set up like some beautiful poster to send to your team in your coach, or something for the parents, or you're announcing an event and you do this beautiful thing in Canva, you can attach it and it'll plop right in the email, which is great. It'll also check your spelling, those kinds of things in here. Okay, so we're getting close to 8 o'clock. I want to just open it up for the things I went through too quickly, anything I skipped, something that you're wanting. Go ahead and unmute. What can we take a look at?
I have a tip that I'd love to share.
Please.
One of the labels that I use is called Follow Up Friday. It's not necessarily just for Fridays, but it just sounds fun. And so one of the labels that I have is like, okay, this is something that I'm going to need soon. So then I don't have to search for it. It's kind of like my folder that you could keep on your desk that like, okay, these things are coming within the next month. And so instead of going and looking for that, and then like, if I do have the opportunity on a day where I'm like, okay, what am I doing? My inbox is kind of empty. I can click through there and be like, oh, I should probably throw this back in my inbox because I need to do it this week. Or, you
So
know,
it's kind of like your own snooze a little bit.
it is, but it
Or like
doesn't
to-do list.
pop it back up. It's kind of like I'm putting this off to the side. So like a good example, I don't have one currently. Well, let me see if I've got one, like good example for my work one. One was talking about, you know, and I can delete this now, but when benchmark testing was coming up. Okay. So I put a couple of emails in my follow-up Friday that was benchmark. So then I knew, okay, when benchmark testing was coming, it's not sitting in my inbox. I could clear it out of there, but I knew that they were going to be in benchmark without adding like 12 different labels for every single thing. And so I went in my follow-up Friday, found it, was able to use it, and now I could go back and delete it out of there, archive it from there.
Smart.
With a little tool.
Like it. Great tip. Any other tips? It's a great time to share out or ask questions.
I have a question. How did you get the Canva
yeah.
in your options under like the templates?
Okay.
So settings, CL settings, add-ons. Here it is. Add-ons. And then manage. These are the ones I have added. And then manage. Oh, and it's in the marketplace. So you can just, search it.
Okay, thank you.